Okay, today we're going to talk about the advantages or disadvantages of alcohol and drug use, and I'd love to have some feedback from you guys. So the first question I'd like to raise up to you is, what do you think about teens drinking or using alcohol or drugs? Does anybody have an idea?
Well, I think it's not only for teenager, but also drinking and using drugs is basically the wrong thing to do with your body. And whoever doing that is kind of hurting yourself. As far as I know, I have a friend of my mother. He was always doing things like that, and last year we know that he got a kidney cancer. And now I think he has a hard time right now. So I don't think it's only for teenager, but also any people shouldn't do that at all.
Anybody in particular for teenagers or anybody else for that matter?
I think a lot of pressure is put on teenagers today to be cool and fit in and do things that people that are older are allowed to do. But I think participation in activities like that kind of takes you away from what you need to be focusing on.
That's great. That's a good point about the legal age limit. First of all, 21 in Georgia, which makes it criminal for teenagers to drink, but also taking part in life and everything. Anybody else have a thought about that, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't understand why you would want to do something with your body that would make you lose control of your actions and your mind. I like to be in control of myself. I think that's something that's good and you should have the power to do. And the other thing is, what goes up must come down. So you get a good feeling from being drunk, but when you wake up, it's not a good feeling.
It's not so good, huh?
And then you get, it becomes a habit, and then perhaps one result that could happen is that you start becoming dependent on alcohol to relax, to socialize.
Good point.
So it's better just to not even go there.
Right. And also, as you say, with addiction, the more you do it, the less effect as far as feeling good has, and you have to use more to get the same effect that you had originally at the beginning. Right. Anybody else?
Also,
Okay.
I mean, it does change who you are, and it changes just your personality, it changes your family life, it changes who your friends are going to be, it changes where you go, it changes how you get there. It just affects every aspect of your life, and you may not know it until it's already too late, and you can't really reverse it without a lot of work.
Well, you've already talked about some of the risks, but does anybody else have any ideas, or maybe even of some people that have been hurt by the use of alcohol and drugs? But what are some of the risks that teens face by using alcohol or drugs?
Well, first of all, like Andrew said, like you can become dependent on alcohol. Like you stop like having control of what you want in life if you don't have like alcohol or drugs. And I mean, it could go from having, I don't know, that you're at a party, you're really drunk and you fell and I don't know, your knee started bleeding or something until like even like dead. Like I have one friend of mine, he was like with another friend that he was drunk but like my friend wasn't, and they were driving and they crashed and my friend died and the guy that was drinking didn't. So like it's even like, I don't know, like even if you're not drinking but you're like around like alcohol or drugs, it can lead to really bad stuff. So it's not only if you are drinking, you are the one who's having like a bad consequence. Like people around you, your family, your friends are gonna have like bad consequences.
Right. That's a great point too. The number one killer of teens is alcohol through alcohol-related accidents. Anybody else? Risks?
Well, alcohol just impedes your judgment, so you might find yourself in a place you never thought you would be. You just do other risky behavior-like things, and just leads to a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. My cousin actually, he was in an altercation at a party with someone who was under the influence of alcohol and possibly drugs, and the guy was angry at my cousin for some reason, and his emotions were so heightened that he actually stabbed my cousin in the back several times over and over, and my cousin almost didn't make it out alive. So that kind of gave the whole town that he lives in kind of a wake-up call, like, look at what this is doing to our small little town.
So one of the things you might say is that if you're in a situation where alcohol or drugs are being offered and you see people getting out of control, you might want to leave.
Yeah, just separate yourself. Because drinking and drugs, it can shape the course of your entire life. Like pretty much all of us have known someone who has turned down that road and has spent like their whole entire life trying to get back the life they want to live for themselves. It just changes the whole course of everything.
Anybody else? Anybody have any personal experience with having friends that you've had to help in alcohol or drug-related situations, or know of friends, like a couple of you already who have had family or friends that have been injured by someone or by their own use of alcohol or drugs?
I have a friend who was put in the instance where they were at a party and it wasn't too big of a deal. I think they had one drink, but their parents found out and they got in big trouble for it. Not only were their parents disappointed in them, but they were disappointed in themselves, and that's just something you have to live with when you make that decision.
So it's a big decision
Right.
to make, and don't take it lightly.
Right.
Right.
It'll get back to your parents. It'll get back to you. I mean,
I had a friend who had to grow up without any sort of real relationship with his father, because his father was married to his mom, and then he was a doctor, very successful, and then he became an alcoholic, and he lost his job as a doctor. He became divorced from my friend's mother. He really came out of view of all of them, and he never really recovered, and then he passed away in a car accident. And so my friend really had to grow up without his dad because of alcohol.
There's some tough stories. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
My uncle is an alcoholic, and he hasn't been in any physical altercations or any car accidents or anything, which is great and wonderful, but he's lost 2 jobs already, and he has missed very important pieces of my life and my brother's life and my parents' life. Like, we still have contact with him, but it's really hurting our relationship with him because he's not going to be there for us, and we're prepared for him to not be there for important things.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Anybody else? Okay. The last question I'd like for each of you, if you feel led to, is to answer the question, or what do you in your personal life say yes to when you choose to say no to alcohol or drugs? Anybody can go first.
When I say no to drugs and alcohol, I say yes to reality, because I think things that alter your mind are a way to kind of get away from the reality that you're in. So, and I like to be present.
That's good. And even though the reality may be difficult sometimes, alcohol and drugs just prolongs it.
Yeah, I think a major thing with teens is I think that doing these things will kind of make them feel, or kind of make them not feel the pain that life brings them. And really, it just heightens it, and it makes everything worse. So.
Thank you.
I think when I say no to drugs or alcohol, I say yes to freedom, because I'm not under the control of something that isn't me. The only thing that's in charge is my brain, my heart, not a drink or a pill.
That's a great way to look at it, freedom.
Yeah, I say yes to myself. Like, I look at the things that I want to do with my life, and I say I can do that because I'm not under the influence, and I'm not doing harmful things to my body, and I'm not shortening my life, and I'm not taking away opportunities.
Great, thank you.
Say yes to not regretting, because, like, I don't know, some people, like, that are under the influence of alcohol and drugs, they do, like, really stupid stuff, and then the next day or when they realize, they're really embarrassed about it. So when you say no, I feel you have the chance to be like, well, I don't do stupid stuff, like, with alcohol and drugs. So, like, you feel good about yourself. You feel like I don't know. Like,
Or at least you
proud
can
of
remember
yourself.
it if you do, right?
Yeah. Like, you feel proud of yourself. Like, you, I don't know, like, if you go to a party and then the next day, you can actually, like, talk about, oh, it was so much fun, blah, 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 I remember we did this and that, and then the people that was, like, the person wasn't, like, drugs and alcohol, like, I don't remember.
They don't
and they have a
even
major
remember.
headache.
And they, yeah, and then they could be like, oh, the only thing I remember is, like, I threw up. That's kind of
Yeah,
thing. So.
Well, when I say no to drugs, I say thank you to the people in my life who helped me be this way, and so I can make that decision to say no, and they'll be proud of me because I made the right decision.
Anybody else?
Well,
I mean, I guess I'll add on to the party thing. I always, I remember a couple years ago, and I mean, we still continue this now, but whenever we have parties and we go out and have fun on the weekend, we always say, you know, we have fun by watching movies and having, like, silly dance parties to old music instead of going out and getting drunk or doing drugs and stuff. And we always think, you know what, we're having so much more fun than we would be if we were doing drugs and bad stuff and harming ourselves. And so,
well, for me, if I say no to alcohol, I would say yes to a healthier life. I mean, even I don't like exercise, but even like playing video game, watching TV in the dorm is even better than drinking alcohol or using drugs. I believe so. And then, yeah, or traveling to other places and see all the thing, because I have been a group of friends. They go traveling to somewhere, but all they did is staying in the hotel and having party, drinking. And I kind of feel there's a lost, because they lost the experiment to see more stuff or thing, because you can do that.
That's a great point.
It's also kind of against our school's rules, obviously, because it's kind of illegal, both drinking and alcohol. And so I think when you say no to those things, you're doing a favor to yourself, because you're being able to continue on the opportunities that Raven Gap offers, and you're able to just make the most of it and set yourself on a path of living a great life.
Thank you. That's great.
For me, I say yes to things that matter. Family, academic success, all of my various interests. I get to spend my time doing things that are important to me.
I think listening to everyone, I think we'd all agree that saying no to alcohol and drugs is saying yes to memories, whether they're good or bad. And I think that we all agree that remembering the good memories kind of trumps even forgetting the bad ones.
That's great. Thank you, guys. This has been really great, and I just thank you for your participation and your wonderful thoughts and ideas and your experiences. Thanks.
Can I wave and say goodbye? No.
This was great.